Hello everyone and welcome once again to The View from the Midwest. It's time for another Bleedin' Blue edition as we look at the NHL Central. Let's dig right into it, shall we? We'll start off with the Chicago Blackhawks as they went 2-1-0 on the week. The Blackhawks got off to a much better start this week than they did the week prior. They won 2 games, improving their overall record to 3-3. They did a lot more scoring as well. They beat the Flyers 7-4 at home and then won 5-4 in a shootout at the United Center against the much improved Maple Leafs. Surprisingly, the game that they lost was to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and that was back on Friday by a score of 3-2. The Blackhawks got goals, 4 from Artem Anisimov, 2 from Artemi Panarin, 2 for Richard Panik, who continues his hot streak, 2 for Tyler Mott, 1 for Dan Rasmussen, 1 for Marian Hossa, and 1 for Patrick Kane as he got off his little schneid. This week the Hawks are going to see Calgary on Monday, on the road to New Jersey on Friday, as there's a bit of a gap there, and then at home against the Kings on Sunday. Continuing on with the Nashville Predators, they went 1-2 for the week, and for whatever reason, the Predators are struggling and kind of getting off to a little bit of a slow start. They're not terrible by any means. They still have plenty of room for improvement, plenty of talent to say that they can vault up the standings, but right now they are certainly not doing it. They opened the week on Tuesday with a 2-1 loss at home against Dallas, then fell in Detroit 5-3 before walloping the Penguins 5-1 on Saturday. The Predators got goals, 2 for Mike Fisher, 2 for Victor Arvidsson, 2 for Kevin Fiala, 1 for Mike Ribeiro, PK Subban, and Kalle Järnkrok. It's a West Coast swing now for the Nashville Predators, as my words try to leave me here. They face Anaheim on Wednesday, LA Thursday, and then the Sharks on Saturday. Moving down south now, the Dallas Stars mixed up their bag again this week as they went 1-1-1. They matched the Blues in terms of how their record this week went. Dallas did it just in a little bit of a reverse order. As mentioned, they beat the Predators 2-1 on the road, then lost to the Kings in overtime 4-3 before losing straight up to Columbus on Saturday by a score of 3-0. The Stars got goals from Adam Cracknell again, if you can believe it. He seems to have hit a bit of a hot streak to start the year. They got 2 goals from Jason Spezza, 1 from Radek Faksa, and 1 from Jamie Benn. It's all divisional opponents coming up this week for the Dallas Stars. A home-and-home begins in Big D as they face the Winnipeg Jets, and then they will go up north to face the Jets on Tuesday. Then that home game is on Tuesday, and the rematch is in Winnipeg on Thursday. And then it's off to the state of hockey to face the Minnesota Wild on Saturday. Speaking of the Wild, they had a productive week. They climbed the divisional ladder and definitely improved their overall standings. They went 2-1-1 on the week, which was good enough to put them in second place in the division just behind the St. Louis Blues. The Wild opened the week as the pair of wins. They took down the Kings 6-3 and the Leafs 3-2. The road was not kind as they lost in overtime at 2-1 in New Jersey and then got doubled up by the Islanders by a score of 6-3. Minnesota got goals. They had 2 for Eric Stahl, 2 for Zach Parise, and then Charlie Coyle, Mikko Koivu, Timo Pulkkinen, Jason Pominville, Eric Haula, Jared Spurgeon, Zach Dalpe, Joel Eriksson-Ek, and Nito Niederreiter all had scores on the week. This week it's Boston on Tuesday, Buffalo on Thursday, and then those are both on the road, and then they're back home to face Dallas, as we mentioned, on Saturday. Colorado opened up the week with a 4-3 win as they went 2-2 over on the week. That 4-3 win was in overtime in Pittsburgh. Then they got blanked, I should say, by Washington by the score of 3-0 on Tuesday. Thursday saw the Avs shut out Tampa Bay by the score of 4-0, and then they finished their road trip with a 5-2 loss to the Florida Panthers, which also saw Jaromir Jagr score his 750th goal. The goals for Colorado came from Jerome McGinley, Peter Wierchuk, I'm sure I said that wrong, but Carl Soderberg, Andreas Martinsen, Blake Comieux, and they also had 3 goals from Matt Duchene and 2 from Gabriel Landeskog. Wrapping things up, the Winnipeg Jets looked like the Jets of last year, unfortunately, after starting off their week last week pretty strong. They went 1-2 this time, losing to Boston 4-1 on Monday, taking down Toronto in Winnipeg by a score of 5-4. That took overtime to get that result, though. And then breaking a few hearts in the outdoor game known as the Heritage Classic, as the Jets fell to the Edmonton Oilers by the score of 3-0. The Jets had goals from Patrick Laine. I've heard Laney, I've heard Laine, so I apologize if I'm messing that up. As a broadcaster myself, I do my best to try to get these names right, but when there's multiple names out there, it's hard to choose from when you don't know the player yourself. He had 3 goals on the week, though, so a pretty good challenge for him, and he got that all in one game, got that in that overtime win, got a hat trick. Mark Scheifele, Tyler Myers, and Blake Wheeler all had scores for the Jets. This week it's going to be 2 against the Stars, and, as I mentioned, in that home and home. The first on the road and then the second at home. And then back on the road to see Colorado on Friday and flying home to face the Buffalo Sabres on Sunday. So right now the St. Louis Blues are in first place with 9 points after 2 weeks. Behind them are the Minnesota Predators with 7. And then everybody else kind of tails off from there. But there's a lot of teams coming up. Chicago's coming up. They've got 6 points on the year now, as I do believe does Dallas. And everybody else is kind of teetering down from there. So it's all tightening up just a little bit, and the Blues are going to have to do a little bit better this week than they did the week prior if they hope to hold on to that division lead for much longer, because there's some teams breathing down their neck. So it's going to be an interesting race the entire season in the NHL Central. Keep it right here for all the updates regarding what happens each week right here on The View from the Midwest. But that's our show for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. For more information on the St. Louis Blues, go to bleedandblue.com or visit us right here on The View from the Midwest. But until the next time, I'll see you then.